The New York Stock Exchange and Nasdaq may be facing some new competition from Texas. The proposed Texas Stock Exchange, which is backed by BlackRock and Citadel Securities, those guys, has raised approximately you know who I'm talking about, $120 million from individuals and large investment firms. The exchange, known as TXSE, plans to register with the SEC later this year, begin facilitating trades next year, and launch by 2026. The TXSE, just flips off the tongue, could be fully electronic and would allow dual listings with companies also on the New York Stock Exchange. Texas Governor Greg Abbott told CNBC the new exchange is for companies whose only agenda is capitalism. Oh, shut the fuck up, Greg Abbott. Anyway, what do you think about this? I like a new stock exchange, but they're going to say we're the not woke stock exchange or some stupid marketing thing like that.
I think it's great. I don't like the politicization of everything. That now we're politicizing stock exchanges. That they'll try and position NYSE and Nasdaq as blue. The Nasdaq and NYSE do, I think, get out in front of their skis and start getting into social engineering and deciding what the composition of boards should be, which I'm just not sure that's their job. But they are. I would agree. I think you need more competition, and Texas, there's no getting around it, has done an amazing job. The economy in Texas now is larger than Russia, Canada, and Italy. It has more Fortune 500 companies now than anyone but California. It's tied with New York. Their value proposition here will be more business friendly, lower filing fees, probably less disclosure requirements. I feel like, I'm curious if you agree with this, I smell Elon Musk here. I would bet he's going to be their first customer and move all of his companies onto this exchange. And if you look at these exchanges now, the flip side of having these additional standards is that the average PE of stocks trading on the London or Shanghai exchanges is 13. The average PE of companies trading on the NASDAQ or the NYSE is 26, because that additional, it's why people get a higher salary coming out of Princeton or NYU or Stanford, is the screening, the ability to get into these schools is so great that people assume you're better. It's the same, or more qualified, I should say. It's the same when you manage to get listed on the NASDAQ or the NYSE. People assume that the vetting and the screening means you're a real company and you should trade at a higher multiple.
Why dual listings? Will you explain it? I didn't quite understand. If you allow dual listings, what's the difference? Why would you be on one exchange if you can dual list on both? I mean, you might as well,
Well, yeah,
right?
but on an exchange, you're essentially charging the exchange with pairing shares. And I don't know which shares get allocated to one exchange. I just don't think logistically it makes sense to be trading on multiple exchanges, although some companies do trade an ADR on a foreign exchange. But look, this is another case study. I think competition is good. It'll bring down fees. It'll put pressure. Texas has done a great job putting pressure on other states and other companies, and I think that's a good thing. I just hate the politicization of it. I don't know. We'll see. Competition is good. We should have more than two big exchanges. We used to have the OTC in the U.S.
I remember the OTC.
So I think it's a cool thing. But my gut is Elon Musk. They called him and said,
"Would you move? Tesla?
Would you move?" And he said,
SpaceX.
"I'm down with it. I want the following things, and I don't want you to ever ask me for my financials or ask me what my CEO compensation is or disclosure requirements about X, Y, and Z." They'll position themselves as more business friendly and less woke. They'll say, because, for example, I think it's the NASDAQ requires that you have at least one female board member. And I think, okay, that makes sense. And I think, well, should the NASDAQ be dictating that? I don't, aren't investors smart enough to demand that? Why is the NASDAQ in the business of figuring out board composition? Well, and I think there's good arguments on both ends. They'll exploit that and take advantage of it and say, that's not the business we're in. We're an exchange.
Yeah. I get it. It'll be interesting to see what happens. We like competition. At the same time, if you go on about woke, you're going to exhaust us with your stupidity. Anyway, you're just a money exchange, so just hush up and just see if you can give good services to companies. I don't know if people are that annoyed by that rule necessarily. We'll see. I think the companies are going to stick with New York and NASDAQ. I don't know. I just feel like
the big ones. I don't know. But this, I would just be shocked if they haven't already said to Elon Musk, when SpaceX goes public, have you thought about moving Tesla? And he's like, right on.
Right on. Yeah, you're right. And you're 100%.
They're going to come out of the gates. And not only that, the CFO or the treasurer of Texas will start putting pressure on Texas companies to list on the Texas exchange. They'll create some regional, like my team versus their team, red state versus Texas versus New York. You know, you can just see how this is going to shape up. And at the end of the day,
bigger in Texas. They're going to do all that bigger.
Texas has a ton of great companies. It'll force the NASDAQ and NYSE to bring their fees down. On the whole, I like it.